As I mentioned earlier today during our financial retreat, the college has really been doing a lot of work around thinking about our digital strategy, and so we want to keep you informed. Greg Kozak was here last year about this time presenting to you some very early work in the assessment and evaluation of our IT structures and systems. So he's back now to give you an update and a sense of the direction that our IT strategy is moving as we proceed forward. So, Greg.
So thank you for letting me speak to you tonight. 18 months ago when I came here because I had experience of students who had come here and their families, and they've seen their lives transformed by passing through these hallways. And I believe that this is a place that makes a difference, and I want to make a difference for a place that makes a difference. So let me begin by telling you a story of a few of those students that I knew. Let me introduce you to Chris and Leo. I met them when they were 8 years old when I was their soccer coach. And I followed them through coaching all the way through high school. And they were first-generation students coming here, but they had different experiences. Chris entered into the Engineering Pathways program, and he, as a result, got through his education in 2 years, and now he's a junior at the University of Illinois in mechanical engineering, the 6th best program in the nation, and he's there only because the College of Lake County had an Engineering Pathways program to ramp him up to getting there. Leo came to the college at the same time, and he played soccer for 2 seasons. But at the end of his second season, his support group waned, and as a result, Leo's success at the college waned. Now in spring 2020, he's no longer a student at the college, but he hasn't gotten the credentials to recognize his time spent here. And I know that for him and his family, the lack of those credentials is preventing him from reaching his full potential. This past fall, Leo's brother Daniel came to the college. And so far he's doing well, but the question remains, will he continue to do well or not? I believe that the smart and savvy application of technology could change the outcome for all of these students, or at least reinforce it. And as I talk to you about that, let me remind you of a model I use to describe the maturity of different technology organizations. Most IT organizations focus on functional sufficiency. Do students, faculty, and staff have the tools they need to be able to get the work they need done? But good organizations understand that those tools have to be applied with operational excellence to get the most out of them. Most IT organizations get caught on what I call the IT treadmill, where they come in with a new product, try to run it with operational excellence, get another new product, try to do the same ad nauseum. But high-performing IT organizations understand that there's another level of technology, that of being a partner in mission. As a partner in mission, they have a consultative attitude that helps the organization understand how their business needs and the technology opportunities can be married together to differentiate the product of that institution in a way from the rest of their competitors. The top organizations, though, the digital giants and the Aspen Award-winning colleges, understand that there's a fourth level, that of partner in mission, where technology is seen not as an end in itself, but as a result of a focus in on constituents, in our case, students, and their success. These organizations understand something in addition, that in focusing in on constituents, they turn the tables on how technology is typically implemented, no longer as a bottom-up endeavor, but a top-down endeavor. Steve Jobs once said, you have to start with the customer experience and then work backwards to the technology. Let me explain how we're trying to do that as we implement technology here at the college. A few months ago, you had a presentation on our look to reimagine the student digital experience. And in that, we talked about the fact that we needed to start with the student's experience, not with the technology. This is not just going to be putting new technology and whiz-bang features on a website that isn't necessarily working as well as it could. The student's digital experience begins with that website and helping them to identify this as a place that fits for them, and then helping them find a pathway to get onto and then register for being a student here. The student portal takes them forward from that registration for classes all the way through the rest of their journey. But by having deep empathy with students, we didn't focus in on how technology makes that happen. We focused first in on their experience. Many students come to the college with a sense of trepidation. Is college right for me? is this college right for me? What's the path that I need to get on, and will it make a difference for me and my family and my career? At some point during that journey, students experience some sort of a crisis in many ways. Not all students, but many students. And in that crisis, it's caused either by academic challenges, but more so it's caused by things outside the control of the college. Somebody in their family or the individual gets sick, or their car breaks down, or they have financial challenges that cause them to have to work. And in those moments of crises, sometimes the issue gets the best of the student, and they fade away as a student, as happened with Leo. But sometimes, some students use those challenges as an opportunity to connect with our caring and compassionate staff, especially our caring and compassionate faculty, and other students. And they turn that crisis into an opportunity not only to direct themselves continued towards an education, but to actually propel themselves towards success. By understanding this journey, we can have a completely different understanding of what that digital experience should look like for students. Let me explain. Underneath the student experience are the processes that students have to follow in order to make progress here. And we've mapped those processes to that emotional journey. And some of those processes help, and some of them hinder students as they go through. In the same way, underneath the processes is not technology yet, but are the systems that support the processes in their support of students. And again, there are some systems that help, and some systems that hinder students in their journey. And finally, and last, we get to the technology, underneath the systems and the processes and the experience of our students. And again, there are technologies that help and technologies that hinder students in their journey. The important thing is that by looking at this whole thing, first from the eyes and experience of our students, and then working backwards to the technology, we have a vision for a website that is substantively different than you would see at many other community colleges. If we return back to that student emotional journey, the goal of this website is to pull them forward on their journey through all those crises that they might experience all the way through success. And we do that by understanding where each student is on their journey and what the next step is that they need to take to experience success, customizing the experience for who they are, where they are, and helping them gain the enthusiasm and the focus for continuing through on that next step. As I thought about this area in the student emotional experience where they experience a crisis, I thought about what else can the IT organization do to help our students succeed. And I reflected on the fact that we have a full computer information technology program. We also have a complete IT organization. And if the goal of students in the program is to get a job in the marketplace, can the IT organization do anything during those moments of crisis to help students move forward? We came up with the idea of what we're calling an IT rotational internship, where second-year CIT students, those most likely to experience that crisis in their life, are able to enter into an internship with the IT organization itself. And over the course of a semester, rotate through the different departments in IT, understanding the different disciplines that one can have in this growing area, and allowing them to connect to the part that they experience and like the most. But besides giving them that counterbalance of experience to match the theory they're learning in the classroom, if the goal of this program is to help them land a job, what if we force them or ask them, or maybe better yet require them, to go through a full interview process of both functional and behavioral interview questions so they were better able to perform when they're looking for a real job? And what if we took their resume and we ripped it apart and helped them to create a better resume that would get them noticed by the bots and other things that now process resumes for most people? And what if we embellish this some more by saying in a second semester, that student could select the area of IT that most interested them and do a deep dive and spend a semester gaining more experience to embellish their resume, making it more likely that they'd be able to land a job. Well, I'm excited to say that after our first semester of doing this, of the 5 students who went through it last semester, 3 of them have already found jobs in the Lake County environment or community. Now, what if we didn't stop there? Because we're seeing students come into us with a set of skills and knowledge that they learn in our CIT program, what if we created a feedback loop with that program and responded to them the things that they could tweak in order for our students to be better skilled and more noticeable in the job market than students from other institutions? And what if we did this on a regular basis? Well, what if we didn't stop there? What if we used our connection in industries with both technical individuals and business leaders to create and assess new programs, such as a certificate in cybersecurity or an associate's degree in network security, to help vet these programs with employers to make sure that they're teaching the things that make a difference? I'm excited to say that Dr. Sylvia Johnson-Jones in the Career and Job Placement Center has been able to get us a 4-year grant that allows us to change this internship into what we're calling a pre-apprenticeship. By that we mean that any student who completes this program will be guaranteed an apprenticeship with a Lake County employer. Students, faculty and curriculum, the IT organization, and the Lake County employment community all working together in a virtuous circle. But everything isn't coming up roses in IT. You can just ask anybody in this room, and I'm sure they'd be able to give you a long list of things that we need to improve in order to help our students succeed. When asking our staff questions about technology, in the ICAT survey, one of the things they identified, that in the area of data and technology, we have amongst the lowest ratings across any topic in all the college. And as we drill deeper into why that is, there's a couple things. People do not understand how we're applying our technology decisions to help students succeed, and they don't understand how the technology we do have is being integrated as a comprehensive whole. As I worked with these questions with Nick Branson and tried to figure out what we could do with regards to technology here, I was reminded of a business capability I was surprised to see at this college when I first got here. And that's a role called a business analyst. The business analyst isn't part of the IT organization. They're an individual who reports into one of the various departments in the college. And their job is to understand business needs and technology opportunities and bring them together to make decisions for the right technology for their staff and the students they serve. Well, the neat thing about the business analyst is that we already have about 80% coverage for the college in this role. But we need to get to 100% coverage. I liken it to the telephone. Before the telephone had deep penetration, it was an oddity and a special thing that people might have, but they didn't use much. It was only when the telephone was widely dispersed that it transformed the way that people communicate with each other. The same thing with the business analyst. If we can get representation of the entire college with business analysts, then we can bring them together as a whole to imagine how we can drive strategy and technology in a different way as a college. It's a business capability that is partially tapped, that will only realize its full potential when we can make it present to the entire community. So we've talked about how we're helping students succeed with regards to a digital experience that pulls them forward through their emotional experience. We've talked about how we're helping students succeed through a IT rotational internship that helps them get jobs in the marketplace. We've talked how we can help students succeed by taking the business analyst and creating a technology environment here that differentiates itself from the rest of the marketplace. And now I'd like to talk to you about one final piece in which we can leverage technology to make a difference for the students that come here. And that has to do with strategic partnerships. The College of Lake County spends millions of dollars every year on technology. But we do so in an isolated way where we look for technology at different times, unrelated to each other. And as a result, we get good pricing. But we don't get pricing in which it's leveraged differently against different vendors. So as Trustee Schroka brought up last month, we do a lot of work with CDW because they consistently give us great pricing. But all we get from them is great pricing. We leave a lot of value on the table when we only look at one element. So looking at what I call a consolidation of the spending, we gain greater leverage in how we spend it. And we can ask our vendors to do more for us when there's a lot of benefit for them on the table. And we can shift the fulcrum to getting much more value for our students. Using a model called a balanced scorecard, I've tried to articulate what value looks like for the College of Lake County, looking at items with student success in which we might look at, will any of these vendors provide internships to our students, or mentorship opportunities, or allow them to get discounts for the things that they might want to buy through this vendor. We can look at pricing and perhaps get even better discounts through volume purchasing rather than purchase things in a one-off fashion. We can improve quality and service and quicker returns and quicker delivery of equipment so that we can be more agile and get things out faster. And most importantly, next to student success, we can try to leverage our strategic relationship so that we might be able to serve on their customer advisory board and influence their direction. And they might be able to serve on perhaps the foundation board or influence us in some other way where they're helping our students to succeed. Not only can this work with our sizable technology spend, but there's ways we could get this to work with other vendors like First Midwest Bank, Gala Insurance, and Leggett Architects. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about one final topic tonight, and that's at the level of operational excellence, dealing with cybersecurity. Many of you have gone to conferences and attended sessions where the issue of ransomware or other malware has been a topic. Across the United States in higher education last year, there were a lot of attacks in higher education institutions when it comes to ransomware. And just in northeastern Illinois, there have been a lot of attacks on educational institutions when it comes to ransomware, data breaches, and other sorts of malware. I want you to know that our relatively newly formed cybersecurity team is doing everything they can to help mitigate the risk of us encountering a breach or ransomware. But they can't guarantee that we won't. I like to say if the National Security Agency can be breached, and they have, then so can we. But that doesn't mean we can't do everything possible to mitigate the risk of that. And so you have in the handout that supplements this, not the slide handout, but there's a supplemental handout, a list of the questions we've asked about the strategic relationships and a 5-year plan around the cybersecurity team that articulates how we plan to get basic information security to guard against this threat of attacks, and what our plan could be 5 years from now to grow it to an intermediate or advanced level. I would love when you have questions about cybersecurity that you'd be willing to ask me what we're doing. In fact, I'd love you to start asking me a lot of questions. Questions about how can you as a board learn how technology can be leveraged to make a difference in higher education? How can we leverage technology not just for the benefit of our students, but the benefit of the college and the community as a whole? And how can we mitigate the risk that comes as we grow into an increasingly digitized environment? I need you to ask me questions. I need you to provide pressure to me so that we as an IT organization think more deeply and profoundly because we as a community are asking questions and thinking about the role of technology in an increasingly digital time, where those who are able to leverage technology thrive and those who can't start to disappear due to other competition. And I need you to do this, not because I want your attention. I need you to do this because I fervently believe that technology can not only help Daniel have a different experience than Leo, but if I can get Leo back here, the technology can help us and him be successful together. Thank you.
Questions or comments for Greg? As you can see, he's impassioned about the student success.
I didn't notice it. I think we should clap.
I will just say it is an uncommon trait in CIOs across this nation to get them to the point to understand that the true work of IT is supporting student success. So I'm just extremely pleased that we have that framework and mindset in IT, and I commend the IT team as a whole. They have been working extremely hard with Greg to really re-envision the work of IT at CLC, and so I can assure you that this isn't just Greg standing here saying this. They are having deep and hard conversations to really think about how they shift their organizational work to better support all of us as we move our student success agenda forward.
Very good.
No additional comments or questions? With that, then that concludes my